Hey, welcome to For the Story. We're a podcast, and we review movies and listen to things on our boombox in our room, etc. I'm Hedwig.
Oh my god. And I'm Avery.
You like that little
Yes.
split action?
Oh yeah, I like it. You're basically McAvoy. You do a really good impression of that.
Thank you.
It's great.
Well,
now the whole internet's gonna know.
and but too bad we're not watching Split. We misspoke. We're reviewing a recipe for split pea soup with rosemary from allrecipes.com and watching Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Yeah, sorry. I think we mistyped the the link you clicked too, guys. But no, we actually we're doing a double feature for you guys.
Yeah.
So we're doing two here in preparation for the movie Glass, which is coming out I think like next week from when we're recording.
Hopefully, because we need to get that episode out.
Hopefully we can finish it before everything burns down on your end. It sounds like there's a fire truck.
Okay. Oh, it's got 36% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah. So this is all like early critical response. People who are like cynical like you and I. So it doesn't bode well for our review.
I wonder if Armand White has done an early review.
Maybe we could like check that out. We're not talking about Glass yet. I think we should save.
We should
that
definitely
and do like an Armand White.
We can even
deal.
kind of discuss our expectations for it towards the end here.
I think that's a good idea. Yeah. But we're doing this is gonna be our big double feature for Unbreakable and Split, the two preceding movies in Shyamalan's
Israel number 177 trilogy.
Is that really what it's called? I was just going to call it the Unbreakable trilogy, but I guess East Rail 177.
Yep.
All right.
M. Night Shyamalan's a fucking alien and doesn't know how to name anything.
Yeah, that's a terrible name for the trilogy. I guess it's because of the derail that happens at the beginning of Unbreakable.
Yeah, I mean, like, I've never seen Unbreakable, but isn't the title kind of like, you think it's a sports movie about like an old pitcher who like broke his arm but is so close to getting the world record, and then he comes back at age like 47 and
Unbreakable
has to like do two more strikeouts.
I could like see the trailer for this movie in my brain.
It's not the name of
Unbreakable.
like a grounded superhero movie.
or Ash, even worse, it's a movie about a wild horse.
Oh my god.
It's a movie about a wild Mustang in like Colorado in the 1890s, and or even better, it's like the 1980s, and they have to like break this horse because it's going to be the best competition horse that ever existed.
It also sounds like the name of a line of silver or not of dishware that
Unbreakable.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Actually, I would buy some Unbreakable dishware. That sounds pretty like a good value or a complete lie.
Most of my problems come from the breakability of my dishware.
At least 1% of my problems come from things breaking in general, I would say. That would solve at least a little bit of my worries.
Yeah, for sure. So we're going to start with 2000's Unbreakable, but before we get into that, Avery, what have you seen this week?
Dude, I gotta be honest with you. I've been watching so much Next Gen recently.
Good.
That's like all I've been watching. I'm in like season 2, so it's after Riker grew the beard.
Okay.
So it gets like much better. And it's pretty great, man. I really like Star Trek a lot, and I've been growing, and like I've realized that it's better than Star Wars. Everybody like immediately leaves our podcast.
No, you're correct. We're kind of an anti-Star Wars in general.
The thing is that like Star Wars is cute and it's fun. It's a family movie. I like Star Wars for the same reason I like Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't think it has anything really deep to say, except evil is evil and good is good. Whereas Star Trek actually like kind of explores some more philosophical topics, and I don't understand why people compare the two.
Yeah,
because it doesn't make any sense. They're two totally different things.
Star in the title.
That's got to be what it is. It's like, are you a Trekkie or a Star Wars fan? It's like no, like you can like both. You could definitely like both. It's not like the Beatles and the Stones.
Yeah.
It's totally different. Yeah. But
let's see. What have I watched? I watched Monty Python and the Meaning of Life. It is
really? I've never seen that one.
It is so funny. You ever wanted to see a teacher fuck his wife in front of a class of students for sex ed and have them all just hating it?
Kinda. That sounds terrible.
So good.
That sounds kind of horrifying.
Do you want just random musical numbers where fucking Eric Idle is standing in like green space talking about the size of the universe and how insignificant we are?
Actually, yeah, that kind of sounds great.
It's a great movie.
That's the meaning of life. Awesome. Yeah, I should watch this. I don't know why. I need to explore more Monty Python. I've seen the Holy Grail, which is the one that everybody's fucking seen. And I think I saw Life of Brian when I was like too young. Too young to understand the humor.
The best part about The Meaning of Life, though, is that it starts out with a proletariat uprising against corporate overlords, where they use a building as a airship and land on a bank and murder all these bankers with they're like all super old men, and they kill them with like umbrellas and stuff. It's like 20 minutes and it has none of the people from Monty Python in it, and it feels like it's like, is this the right movie? It's great.
Interesting. I guess they wanted to say something different. Yeah. Oh, I also saw, you know what I saw is the remake of Suspiria. It had a second limited run release at Alamo Drafthouse downtown, and
yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah, it's like there was some stuff that was like really effective, especially earlier on in the movie, and it's like a trilingual movie. It's in German, French, and English pretty much equally, which I thought was really cool. But there was some stuff that was just like especially towards the end of the movie, it gets pretty pretty dumb. There's some pretty fucking dumb shit. And I was like, well, I say go see it anyway. Why not?
Yeah.
You'll probably get like a little spooked at least early on. And it's a cool period piece of like, I guess it's not really a period piece, but it takes place in East Berlin, like in the 70s before like the wall was torn down. So that's definitely kind of interesting to see, because not many movies are set in that. At least I haven't seen anything in recent memory that's set in that period.
Yeah, I can't think of anything, but I haven't watched much.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, I suggest, like, watch the original, because I know the original's kind of a classic, and I haven't seen it myself, but I think probably whenever movies get just, like, raw remade, they tend to leave out some of the finer things that make the original better.
Yeah.
So let's see. It came out in 1977 originally, but, yeah, it's like a horror movie. It looks pretty good. Anyway, it's about like witches and shit. If you want to get kind of spooked, go ahead and see it.
I love witches. I got in an argument with my friend. We went to trivia, and we got in an argument on whether or not what's his face, Ben Affleck, is good in anything ever.
I can't think of anything. Could he think of something?
He was trying to be like, well, he's a great director. I'm like, what? The Town? Like, shoot me.
What is he? Wait, what the fuck is he directed?
The Town.
I've never heard of Affleck. What's The Town? I've never even heard of this.
The one with the people wearing nun masks.
Is it a horror movie? Oh man, he's in it too. Oh wow. It actually has a really high score.
Yeah,
on Rotten Tomatoes. Maybe it's not bad.
I didn't like it. That's just me, though. I am very particular.
Affleck always looks.
And
he always
Argo.
looks like he's just too fat for the role that he wants to play.
And Argo, which I think is an overhyped piece of bullshit. I don't.
I've never even heard of this movie. When did this come out? The Town.
2010, I want to say.
Wow, go figure. Maybe I should watch this.
Yeah,
that'd be interesting. Because it could be like, maybe if he's given like his own creative control, it's not too bad. I mean, it's 2 hours and 5 minutes. I might watch it. I have movies that are more important to watch.
Yeah, I mean, his first ever directorial debut was a short film called "I Killed My Lesbian Wife, Hung Her on a Meat Hook, and Now I Have 3-Picture Deal with Disney."
Oh my god. That's like the title, The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then the Bigfoot.
Which we'll talk about. What the fuck?
What the fuck?
I'm watching this later.
What, the town? Or
No, I killed my lesbian wife, hung her on a meat hook, and now I have a 3-picture deal at Disney.
Yeah, so yeah, we got some stuff coming up.
It's more of a confession
good to
than the name of a short film.
Yeah.
My confession. Anyway.
But so anyway, yeah, Suspiria. Go ahead and see it if you want. Why not? That's what I got to say.
Debate with your friends if Ben Affleck is good at anything.
Yeah, for sure. Because if you could think of anything specifically that isn't the town, because apparently the town's like mixed. Some people like it, some people don't.
I mean, it's fine.
If you could think of anything, let us know.
Anything special.
Like, send us a message. I think when it comes to like actual roles, that's what I want to hear. You know, like not something he directed and he had complete creative control over. Because maybe I don't know. Maybe he's good.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything that like I've seen him act in where I was like, wow, good performance.
Wow.
It seems like nowadays he's just kind of a lazy actor because I could be wrong though. I might be speaking out of turn.
And hatred.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. I might just like, yeah. But, so we watched Unbreakable. I think we should discuss Unbreakable because we've discussed stuff that isn't Unbreakable too much already. We both have a lot of opinions.
They're not all the same.
They're not.
They're not.
Which is something that happens to us frequently enough because we're two different people.
Something that the internet is actually pretty torn about, if I'm being real.
We could be the same person.
We could just be
It's actually me just modulating my voice and talking to myself.
Actually, a split personality. A wink.
A split. Hey. Just like we're doing a split episode tonight. Hey.
No.
Yeah.
What were you expecting seeing this movie?
So I saw this movie. I was really young. It came out in 2000. I probably saw it in like 2003 or 4.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit later than that. I can't remember when I saw it. I didn't know it came out in 2000. I thought it was like 03 or 04 to be honest, because that's probably when I saw it.
Yeah.
But so I probably would have been in like 5th or 6th grade, maybe 7th grade. But my expectations were that it was going to be pretty good because I know as far as Shamayalan goes, his first like 3-4 movies are actually pretty decent, and then he tanks really hard in the mid-2000s and the late 2000s. It didn't make another good movie until Split came out in 2016. So I was thinking like there's going to be elements of this like decline that he faced, but overall it was going to be pretty decent. I'd say that's probably about what I experienced. So,
sure.
Yeah, my expectations were like, I'm probably going to like this.
Yeah. I had very few expectations. Man, like, I don't know. With Shyamalan, I was not a huge Sixth Sense fan. I thought Signs was fine.
Really?
I
think Sixth Sense is excellent. Sorry, this is your...
Yeah, no. It's fine. He has the general problem, and I think that it's kind of clear in this movie and in a little bit of a capacity Split as well, where he just kind of likes to get rid of the third act and just like does a twist instead of an act. And
yeah,
I mean, like, that's a little bit of an oversimplification, really, but it does a lot of the time feel like he is. I just don't know what this guy's doing. Big fan of Lady in the Water, Last Airbender.
Big fan, huh?
After Earth. I have a poster on my wall.
You sound like Armand White.
No.
Who probably liked all those movies.
I enjoyed the juxtaposition of, Eurasian cultures.
Ladies and water. Oh, Christ.
Unlike
all those movies
the
are
disgusting,
notoriously
what was the other? The Shape of Water. The Lady in Water has heart and is not deeply political by that cuck, Guillermo del Toro.
I wonder when The Shape of Water came out, if people were confused if it was a sequel to Lady in the Water. Because like a lot of the advertisements looked really similar, and like the covers for both of them are really blue.
Do you think we could make that work? Do you think we could make like an internet conspiracy theory that
I think it's starting right now, man.
It's called the East Rail. There's going to be a third one. This is going to be called Water.
The Water trilogy.
No. It's M. Night Shyamalan for the first one. So it's like, gotta have a terrible name.
Yeah, I don't know. It would have to be something that happens in Lady of the Water that defines the trilogy.
Oh, absolutely.
East Rail 177. Oh my god, that's such a bad name. It doesn't describe like any of the movies really. It just like kind of explains the beginning of Unbreakable.
Yeah, but it's not like that
right?
kid with like tiny fucking Split guy. Tiny James McAvoy wasn't on the train. He'd be dead.
Yeah, exactly. He would have died. Or maybe that's something that's gonna come to light in Glass. Maybe he was on the train and escaped.
No, because he's in this movie.
Yet. Wait,
yeah.
what?
Okay, so this is a fun piece of trivia. You remember when he's walking around the stadium in that long scene where he eventually like frisks M. Night Shyamalan?
Yeah.
So he bumps into this lady and her kid, and you hear the woman scream, and like the kid like freaking out.
Is supposed to be James McAvoy
as a child.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That sounds like something that somebody made up after the fact.
It sounds like something that M. Night Shyamalan made up after the fact because he said that he's in it.
Did. Yeah.
Because he's supposed to be 21 in Split, which is insane.
Yeah, really? Because James McAvoy looks like he's like 34.
At least.
He's supposed to be 21 in Split.
I hear he's also up to play Harry Potter. Get it? Because he looked really old by the end. Or... Anyways, he's up for Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire style. That's a better joke.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. So, yeah, that sounds like something that Shyamalan made up after the fact for sure. Like, actually, the little kid, remember? Yeah, it's like, yeah, okay, man, whatever. However you want to link these together, more than they're already linked together, rather than completely
the ending of Split.
Once again, completely after the fact. Yeah, rather than just the ending of Split. It's like, see, the thing with Split is that you could have, I know we're not talking about Split yet, but this is what I think, is that could have been a self-contained movie and it would have been better.
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah, if he added that, like, if he took away that little part, we're linking them together, it's like, okay, M. Night and your twist endings.
Yeah, that's like the worst.
Now it's got to be
twist.
A trilogy.
That movie has the worst twists.
Yeah,
this movie has a pretty bad one too.
You think?
Yeah,
I don't. Oh,
you think the guy who wears purple suits and gloves everywhere is not the fucking bad guy the whole fucking time?
That's a good point.
I've never seen this movie.
Especially, they really do highlight the opposites between the two. That's a good point.
And just like
he's
so
obvious.
Creepy. And he's got like this weird relationship with his mother where she like leaves him presents outside.
And he's always like bugging David Dunn's family and stuff.
Yeah, he's like harassing them.
Right? Yeah. And like he's always calling and leaving messages. Fucking weirdo. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's... anyway.
Yeah.
And he freaks out at that guy for fucking trying to buy something nice for his kid and then does a speech out of like insert Quentin Tarantino movie.
Yeah, for real. Really like Tarantino-esque. Yeah. Like Shyamalan's probably a fan though. And that was early on in Tarantino's career too. I think honestly Shyamalan likes to emulate stuff but doesn't always get it quite right.
I think
I also think he's definitely an alien.
Though, where I was just like, why is this? Is this Pulp Fiction? Is he going to say what again?
I think where Shyamalan really lucked out for this movie, and it elevated the movie to a point where it shouldn't have been as good as it is having like strong actors, like Jackson and Willis in particular, actually like are really good, like opposite of each other. I feel like almost always. And this isn't the first time they've acted opposite of each other either. And I just really like Bruce Willis a lot,
I couldn't hear him. I had to turn on my subtitles because I couldn't...
He was very quiet.
But also, like,
yeah.
We need to realize, like, now that Jason Momoa should be a quiet action lead.
You think so?
I think he should be... I don't think he doesn't have that rock personality. He's a Bruce Willis. He could be a great Bruce Willis.
Right. Yeah, he could. But no, he's Aquaman apparently is the best movie in the world or some shit right now. Keep seeing those ads, so he's gonna get stuffed into those Aquaman roles for the rest of his career.
You see what we did? Everyone who fucking was like, well, it was better than the other ones, and now everyone's like freaking out.
No, it was better than most of the other ones.
Yeah,
but it still wasn't very
still
good.
Was there. It's like how Venom did really well. I'm like, how did we get here?
It's just big and dumb, man. People like big and dumb.
Yeah,
you know. Like, this is, like, Unbreakable was a smaller movie with a pretty big budget, actually. It still was a smaller movie with, like, I think it was, like, 75 million, something
I think
like that.
That's the same as Daredevil 2003.
Yeah, it is. It's right in about the same class and came out in a similar time. Those early 2000s, like, the superhero thing was starting to ramp up, and I think Unbreakable could have done better. It made, how much did it make? Opening weekend was 30 million. Gross USA 95. Worldwide, it made 154.5.
So it didn't really make money.
Which is actually not. Yeah, I think this movie could have done better. Like maybe like 8 years later, like as that like superhero thing was really starting to like meet its renaissance.
But isn't 2008 the year that isn't that when Dark Knight came out?
Yeah,
I think that this would have failed if it came out bombastic.
It would have been overshadowed by Dark Knight for sure.
And also, if you watch them back to back, you'd be like, "Oh, one of these is clearly a better movie."
Yeah, I think Dark Knight's. I don't know. I don't know if I like this or Dark Knight better. I think I like Dark Knight better. They're almost totally different movies. It's hard to compare them.
They are, yeah, but
very very different.
That's why we get paid the big bucks.
we get paid the big bucks.
Oh, I mean.
Oh, this whole time? You've been holding out on me.
Yeah. My bad. Do you know this is one of Quentin Tarantino's favorite films?
Is it really?
According to trivia on IMDb. I'd like to know the source on that.
Oh, that doesn't, yeah. That doesn't mean anything. Anybody can write that shit, I'm pretty sure. But, yeah, I don't know, man. I thought this movie was okay. I actually, like... found myself like enjoying it like halfway through. You're right, and how I think we discussed a little bit. I'm gonna go into pros.
Let's go into pros.
Before I really launch. Yeah, before I launch into that. But yeah. So I think I know you had some things to say about it, but I felt really strong about the use of the camera work. I think that's actually one of Shyamalan's better aspects, is his ability to see things pretty artistically. I think for this one, he was given a little bit more of a budget. So there's that weird fisheye shot that you mentioned.
Yeah.
It was never replicated. That has like no emotional weight. Yeah, but I think barring that, everything else looked pretty cool.
It did look cool. And like all of those shots in a vacuum, I think look cool. But
yeah,
it's just it's like it almost feels like a film student did it, because it's just like
a little
they're
bit
trying them all out.
He was a young guy, man.
They're all expertly executed.
Shyamalan at this point was like considered like a young prodigy of a filmmaker, because Sixth Sense did so well, and that was like his debut. Yeah, so exactly something like that. But I think like I really like the use of the camera work. My favorite shot in this movie, you're gonna think it's so weird, is the shot when Bruce Willis is in the closet. And it's such a Shyamalan shot. It's filmed from like up in the corner of the closet. And he's like reaching his hand up there. And he grabs the gun out of the shirt and he looks at it, because of course it's going to surface later in what I think is a pretty stupid scene. But like,
you could just say it's
but
a
then
scene
he like reaches
movie.
up. Yeah, it is. But then he reaches back up, he puts the gun back and pulls down this folder with all the newspaper clippings of like, you know, star quarterback from when he was a kid. That's a really good way of like using exposition effectively, because he's not just like I think all of the exposition actually in this was used really effectively, because nobody just flat out says anything that's like groan worthy. You can pick up little clues like the newspaper clippings, and like how like his wife mentions his injury, which apparently never happened. Spoiler. That's kind of like the twist in this movie that I thought worked, is that he had been lying about his injuries after this car accident, which ended his football career.
You say that they show it with the clippings, but I feel like every 5 minutes I was hearing about his football career.
That's true, especially early on.
Well,
but I think
when Mr. Glass was at rehab, too. Just like does the exposition question and answer session. But I did like that shot a lot.
Yeah, I thought that was like a really good one. Another thing that I really liked, and this goes down to camera work again, probably it was done in post. This is right when people were digitally editing films before they were released, like right at the beginning. I think the first one that was like color corrected ever was in 1999. I forget what it was. But there's a really blue tone over the course of this whole movie, I think to indicate that it's somber. It's supposed to be low and slow. It's just like sad and like everything's depressing. But then when there is color, it's saturated and it pops really hard. And I think like things that are good, like when he's like looking at his kids or when he's like, or something that's supposed to stand out, like the orange jumpsuit on the serial killer guy, like later in the movie. All of that stuff, I think, is really effective.
When they do the glass reveal and he's like, everything's like in black and white except for his like purple ass suit.
Yeah.
And do stuff like that.
Pretty much. Yeah. It draws your eye to it really, really well. And I think that's pretty. You know, I thought it looked good. I thought most of everything in this movie looked good. There was like a weird shot that I didn't really like when Glass opens up the comic book when he's a kid. And, like, it turns the whole camera all the way around as he's turning the comic book and holds it in, like, this completely unnatural way as he turns it. So we could get that turning camera shot. That's a little superfluous. But he's a young experimental director trying to whole, figure out what works for him.
Comic book store scene, I don't know what it was, but the way that was shot was super obnoxious. Maybe it was because it was so low.
The one where the comic book store guy's pushing him out and he keeps like fucking shit up with his like leg that's in a cast.
I feel like this is not the angle you like should be trying.
That would work better with like a flat wide shot, I think.
Yeah, actually. Or even just like an overhead.
An overhead would be
like
fun
an
too.
up close overhead where you're not seeing too much of the surrounding room, but just seeing him knocking stuff over with his hands and feet. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Or just there were some things like that where it's like
that low angle was a little like that was an odd choice to me.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
I didn't think overall bad, but like definitely kind of like why'd you pick that?
It was noticeable.
Yeah. There was some stuff that like there was some stuff like that, like the fisheye shot, that turning camera thing where he was trying to execute something. But the thing is like when it comes to camera work, I think in particular, creative camera angles need to portray an emotion in some way. An example that I'd like to use a lot, and people, I don't know, I've had people tell me I use this term too much, but Dutch angles and how they're supposed to like imitate like a feeling of like when you turn the camera, it's supposed to go from like the character's like conscious normal state of mind, but then you turn it as like he gets more crazy. It's supposed to like imitate or like mirror a beat that the character is having in the scene. And people often, like the first Thor movie is a great example. It's just shot with Dutch angles all over the place for no reason. And it's like an overuse of a technique that looks ugly when it doesn't mirror the story. And I think like some of those little quirks that Shyamalan threw in there maybe were a little unnecessary, but he was experimenting at the time too.
Yeah, I mean,
I think occasionally to his detriment.
I mean, it's not like they're doing like the long panning shots like they do in like a Kubrick or even in a John Carpenter. Like the erratic nature of, like I said, all the shots were cool, but the erratic nature of how the shots were used meant that the filming of the movie couldn't convey one consistent tone as well.
I can agree with you there for sure. I think some of the tones were kind of all over the place sometimes. This movie didn't know if it really wanted to be a depressing movie, because there would be some sad like stuff like his relationship with his wife, I think maybe a little superfluous, but like it kind of worked for the story a little bit. It was a little like it was almost like B plot. It was almost B plot at times, but I thought it worked. You could have done the movie without it and probably shortened it up a little bit. But but I think it's still like it developed his character. Yeah, this movie was a solid hour and 45.
Yeah.
That is a great length for this movie.
But honestly, it needed more, in my opinion.
You think it could have gone another 15 minutes and had a stronger third act?
Or
because that's one
of
your cons we've discussed, but I think Hour 45, totally acceptable time. If M. Night Shyamalan really wanted to be masturbatory, this movie would have been 2.5 hours long and would have ended with an epic CGI battle. But it didn't do that.
Yeah.
It didn't do that. It was pretty contained. And this movie acts as a self-contained movie pretty well. It like vaguely like gives you the impression that there could be more to this story. And I found myself happy that there was a continuation for the story in Split, even though it really wasn't a direct continuation. That's kind of what we're getting with Glass, which I think is going to be pretty bad.
Glass is going to be terrible.
Yeah.
So fun fact, I want you to guess which movie is more expensive, Split or Unbreakable.
I'm going to say probably Unbreakable.
Is more expensive?
Because, yeah.
That is correct. Can you guess by how much?
Probably something like $35-40 million.
So Unbreakable was $75 million. Split cost $9 million.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's so
you want to know
cheap.
why? That is really cheap. And it's a good movie, too. You know why it cost $9 million?
Why?
Because Shyamalan made so many consistently failing movies over the course of almost a decade that nobody wanted to produce his films because they were bad and didn't make money anymore.
That makes sense.
But then he probably cobbled together $9 million to make what was actually a pretty good movie.
Did you see The Visit?
So good on him. What's that?
Did you see The Visit?
I didn't see The Visit. That came out before Split, and I heard that it was like bad, but it was better than anything he had made in the like the previous 5 films before that.
Yeah, I'm curious about that movie. That's why I asked.
Yeah, I've never seen it, but I've heard like some people liked it, and some people were like, it's another Shyamalan down the toilet kind of movie.
Okay.
But yeah. What I know you have some cons.
Yeah.
The other pro I have before we're totally done. I wrote this down. Is that scene where he's strangling the serial killer dude in the house was fucking awesome. My heart was like pounding during that, and I've seen it before.
Yeah.
It just really got me. That was a cool scene.
I'd say kind of to couple with that, like I almost wish that, I wish that they'd shown a little less, but I would have really loved it if we went into Glass. Because I think that, like, you could make the argument that he's not a superhuman and he doesn't have special powers if, like, they...
Kind of, yeah.
If they didn't do so much,
just
like, flashback, touchy, like, Jesus motif nonsense in the train station. But, like, if he just... They should have called this movie PCP-able, because, like, this is a guy who's, like has an obnoxious amount of strength but can, like, drown in an inch of water. That's PCP.
Yeah.
He's just on PCP.
What I love, and I liked this when I was younger too, because I remember the first time I saw this movie, I liked it, is that the idea that he's a superhero, but like he's not really a superhero. He's just like slightly stronger than a normal person and doesn't get hurt in situations that somebody would normally die. He survives shit and he's stronger than a normal person.
Yeah.
Like... So he's not really unfucking breakable. Otherwise, this would be a superhero movie. He's just like stronger than the normal guy.
He is unbreakable. He survived like a nearly fatal car crash without a scratch on him. No, he is unbreakable. His bones don't break. His skin doesn't break. Apparently, it's just like I don't know. It just kind of felt like action movie rules. You know, more than like
I could see that
anything superhero.
This is kind of an action movie though. Like
it has one action scene, really.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But I think it was effective. The one that was in there definitely worked for me. I really like how it was. I'm talking about that strangulation scene. Like it was a long shot. He was constantly getting thrown into the wall because he's just stronger than this guy, but he's not like crazy stronger than this guy he's fighting. And so like. He keeps getting put into the wall, and there's like dents in the wall, and getting thrown backwards, but he's fine, you know. And then he ends up winning in the end because he doesn't get hurt. And I thought that was pretty effective. I think that scene worked really, really well. And it's unfortunate that didn't happen earlier in the movie, so there was time for a third act. Because if they had set up that like serial killer guy earlier on and let him be more of a character rather than just he sees this guy in Penn Station, then it would have been a little bit more, it would have had more weight.
Yeah.
But instead that was supposed to be like the third act.
Yeah.
And then
I don't know. I don't understand the pacing of this movie. I honestly think that the glass reveal shouldn't have happened in this movie.
I
think that they
It
should
would
have
have been
waited
better.
for Glass.
Yeah. Or like they should have like alluded to it heavily, but left it a little more ambiguous. Because like him basically telling Bruce Willis at the end of this movie that he's a supervillain is it's kind of cheesy. Is really the only way I can put it. He basically just tells him because he knows that Bruce Willis can sense like things that you've done wrong if he touches somebody. And then he's just like, now we shake hands and I tell you everything I've done that's wrong.
Yeah,
You know?
like he knows how his powers work more or less. Why would he just give him his hand? It's so dumb. I hated that ending. And then they do the fucking Elijah Price is now in a mental institution is written on the screen.
Oh, that was really bad.
Really bad.
Yeah, why didn't they
Just show me that.
just show you that? Like
Also-
that could have been like the epilogue or like the end of the third act. You know?
Yeah, but also, why are you doing that? That's what they do at the end of like biopics or like based on true stories.
or like baseball movies. like this movie was supposed to be.
And Elijah Price went to a mental institution, and David Dunn finally got those last two strikeouts,
Home runs.
To become the most celebrated.
Finally. Oh my God!
They never were
And it
able
ends
to
with
catch Wildebeest, the majestic Mustang of the Colorado slopes.
Unbreakable. It's a movie about a horse. That's so dumb. It's so dumb. It's got to be real, right?
There's gotta be.
Oh, man.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
All right.
That's basically.
All right.
But so I think we kind of got into some of our cons. It's really like that lack of a third act. I wrote one down that there was some slow wooden dialogue, but mostly just from supporting characters, and it's fleeting. And I don't really think that it's. I don't know. It's not really that big of a con. I'm gonna redact that one. I think M. Night Shyamalan being in this movie at all is the dumbest shit. I don't know why he insists that he's in his own movies.
Hitchcock, dog. This ain't the
It's
real
so
window.
masturbatory. It's so annoying.
You ain't made the birds.
Yeah.
Or the birds too.
It's like I don't know who this guy thinks he fucking is and why he insists on doing it over and over again when he's not really that good of an actor, you know?
No.
I do like that he centers everything in Pennsylvania. He's like from like near where I grew up, which is kind of cool.
That's pretty cool.
All of his stuff takes place in like Chester County and like Philadelphia pretty much.
Yeah, I was waiting to see Boathouse Row because that's the one landmark I know in Philly.
It's beautiful, man. It's like right along the highway and you can see it.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful.
I have been to Philly before.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. We should talk about that sometime.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that sometime.
Yeah, Philly's actually really pretty. Like I used to work at a hospital in Center City on 8th and Spruce or 8th and Walnut. I can't
Welcome to
remember
Philadelphia
which one. That was a few
Cast.
years ago.
I'm Ash.
Yeah, right. Philly Cast. What's up? I'm Avery from Austin, Texas. This is my co-host Ash from Los Angeles, California. And we're talking about Philadelphia today.
Every day, all week. Thanks for
All Philly, all day, all us.
So
yeah.
have you been to Philly? Because I haven't.
Follow our Instagram and let us know if you've been to Philly. Yeah, I think that's like my major con is that M. Night always puts himself in his own movies. And it's stupid.
All right, M. Night Shyamalan's
come on,
fucking alien. He's a
Dude.
Like, he's the weirdest fucking guy. He doesn't know how stuff works. He like makes these choices to be like realistic. And then they give Glass a cave made of glass. It's ridiculous. And okay, here's my biggest con. All right, this is supposed to be grounded in fucking reality. The doctor who lets him out after being the only survivor of this train crash, shouldn't he have said something like, hey, by the way, I tried to put an IV in you because you were out for a couple of days, and I couldn't break your skin with the needle. How does everyone not know that this guy's a fucking superhero? Like doctors have to poke people all the time, but he's just like, yeah. Like it seems like there was one other guy. He's gonna die anyway. You can leave now. No. And
that and like how he's just like, do you ever remember me ever being sick? It's like, do you?
Like well, yeah. Why doesn't he remember anything? Is it because he was dead for so long?
Like, I really don't remember it, but like you didn't think that was weird like 20 years ago,
And we've talked about how I think the ending's terrible. God, I thought I can't tell which came first with the fucking like say what again, motherfucker? You're gonna do what with this painting for your child?
That was some hard Tarantino stuff.
I don't know.
Maybe that's why Tarantino likes that, or did you just make that up?
I mean, it was on IMDb trivia, and I really don't know what to make of that. I need to see a real quote.
Cane. Trivia: the glass cane that Elijah Price uses was Samuel L. Jackson's idea.
Samuel L. Jackson. This is why you don't direct.
Yeah, it's true though. I mean, like I see it's kind of interesting. It was supposed to be a metaphor for he's falling down the stairs and like his bones are breaking rather than like, but then they actually just show his legs break. So it's like, that's not really necessary. If you showed him fall down the stairs and then you witnessed the cane break and then it cut, that would have been equally as effective. And that would have made more sense for him to have a glass cane. But instead they showed him falling down the stairs, the glass cane breaks, then he breaks every bone in his body and you see all of it.
Yeah. So it would have been much better if he falls in like off screen. You see, like in like a room, it's just like leaning against a wall and it slides down and shatters. But no, I don't understand. Fucking
M. Night just straight up doesn't understand people.
No,
he doesn't understand how people really talk to each other. He's really bad at directing dialogue, and like it really shows in some of his later films.
Friends don't shoot friends. Split. Okay, Avery.
It's such a bad line. It's so bad. And it's just like he's not really great with actors always. I think Willis and Jackson are just like experienced and knew how to like work with what he's doing. But I've seen some behind the scenes footage of him trying to direct like Zooey Deschanel and Mark Wahlberg in The Happening, and both of them are just like bewildered. They're like, "What you want me to do? How?" I don't know what to do. And like, it's pretty shocking. Like there's a scene where M. Night's asking Mark Wahlberg to do something and like being really vague. And Wahlberg's like, that doesn't make any sense, man. I don't know how to do, like, how do you want me to do this? It's really interesting. If you want to go and look that up, look up some behind the scenes stuff from The Happening, which is probably his worst movie.
All right. Yeah. Oh, you think that's his worst?
I think that might be his worst. Maybe, I don't know. Avatar is really bad. After Earth is really bad.
After Earth would be my vote.
Those three are like, yeah, those three are definitely his worst films. Like, for sure. I think Signs is like when he was really like, he was getting close. He was like ready to jump the shark.
I don't know, man. I mean? Signs is such a weird movie. I think that Signs was a sign that M. Night Shyamalan's a fucking alien.
Yeah, maybe. He's trying to allude to it.
It's like, how do these guys not get it? He
doesn't understand people. He doesn't understand women in particular. Yeah. Like, really doesn't understand how people speak to women. Like, that scene when Bruce Willis is on the train talking to that lady who's supposed to be the sports representative or something, and like he slyly takes off his ring. Like, I understand the message he's trying to put forth, but I don't think real people really act like that.
Nope. And it basically should have been her just saying like, yeah, I got the fourth quarter highlight. Just like, and between her talking about sports, which sounded like he Googled a bunch of random terms, and the weightlifting scene, which I have talked to you in detail about why I get really mad about it.
I think the reason I don't like that part on the train is like Bruce Willis just asked her like, so you're going to be in Philly long? And she immediately is like, I'm going to go sit somewhere else. You're creepy.
I have to leave.
Yeah, it's like, people don't fucking do that. That's an innocent enough question. Like, he's introducing himself. People aren't like that. Like, she's not just going to get up and leave because he asked her if she's going to be in town long. Like, that's a totally innocent question.
Yeah, and I don't know.
Yeah.
it's like almost like that trope of like you say anything to someone, they're like, I have a boyfriend, actually.
I think that's what he's getting at. I think that's supposed to reflect some of his personal experiences with dating.
Do you think M. Night Shyamalan's an incel?
Do you think he... It kind of fucking seemed like that from that scene. I was like, he's complaining about how women won't talk to him because he in his mind he thinks he's asking them innocent questions like, hey, you're gonna be in town long, and then they leave. But in reality, they're just not attracted to him. Just move on to the next person. Don't make a fucking movie about it. Jesus Christ.
What if that's what the whole purpose of the movie? Let's try and extrapolate on that further.
Yeah, let's do it.
The glass cane represents his penis.
Oh Christ.
Notice how Bruce Willis did not try and help anyone except for jumpsuit guy. He saw like 5 other people. One guy was a rapist. Like what the fuck?
Yeah,
like,
oh my God, you're right.
One of them was and the other one was like a fucking like go back to Africa and through, which is also not how racists talk.
Yeah, like not at all.
They don't throw cake at people and say go back to Africa. That's a weird.
No, he broke a bottle on that woman's head. That's fucked up. He should have gone and fucked that guy up. Why didn't he do that? He was just waiting for the serial killer that the script knew was there.
Who was like in a prison jumpsuit all the time, like
so clearly.
What's going?
He standed out like such a target. Why would you wear orange all the fucking time if you're a serial killer? Yeah, it was the guy in the orange. Oh, I know that guy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So,
and luckily,
but
picks a subtle color.
Yeah, but that's that's what I got for cons. There was some really dumb, weird shit in this movie, but there was a lot of redeeming qualities. I think this movie has, I'll talk about my rating once we get there. Yeah, but are you ready to get there?
Yeah, I just want to reiterate, this movie does not have a final act, and it is a 20-second thing, and it makes me absolutely furious. M. Night Shyamalan, this is one of your best movies, and you sat on your own testicles.
Exactly. Yeah, well, there you go. So I got my 5 words and rating ready. Can I go first?
Oh, you got it.
So my 5 words are East Rail 177 trilogy. You were gonna do it too, weren't you?
No. I was not.
But my rating, I'm gonna give this a solid 6 out of 10. Okay. No, I'm gonna give it a 6.5. I liked it better than that. Yeah, because the thing is like I think you should see it. I think anybody who's listening should see it. And I liked it. I didn't feel exhausted while I was watching it. It kept a pretty decent pace throughout the whole thing, if some of that pace was clunky and like mismatched. I felt like it kept my interest through the whole thing. I really like the concept a lot. I like the idea of a superhero that's grounded in reality. I've said that on this podcast before. But I do think that there are some things that hold it back and some like immature directorial decisions that like really betray how new he was at the time. And I do think a lot of those things are indicative of his pending decline following like this movie and Signs and a couple others. I think he did The Village too, and then he did The Happening, and The Happening was really when he started like going downhill.
No, Lady in the Water.
But Lady in the Water came after The Happening, I'm pretty sure.
Nope, 2 years before.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Lady in the Water was the beginning of that, and then The Happening was like, what? So that's what I think. And yeah, what have you got over here?
All right, check it. My 5 words are Unbreakable. They alive, damn it. Listen.
Okay.
I honestly think that the beginning of the downfall of M. Night Shyamalan happened about an hour and 30 minutes into this film. It was amazing and had this really steep drop off. I thought that a lot of the problems were pretty superficial. I thought this was a pretty good movie until it ended. And that was just like, that really bugged me. And it put a sour taste for the whole movie for me. But in general, pretty good movie. M. Night Shyamalan should do some like research where he hangs out in public places with human people.
Yes, human beings. Yes,
But
and not other incels. Because they're not helping you.
He should figure out what a sport is. He should realize that, guess what? If you're benching a lot of weight, you don't want your kid to hide across the room. The weight's not going to explode if something goes wrong. It's going to crush your chest. And the kid should be ready to help you pick it up off your chest. It's called spotting.
Or at least pull the weights off of one side so it'll fall to the other. Yeah.
I thought there were a couple bad choices in terms of, trying to make this grounded and everything. Making him be in a like hospital room was a weird choice. You should have just had him get up from the scene and stuff like that. I don't know. Like, it's just like certain things where I'm like, well, like everyone's gonna realize like there's pretty weird stuff going on. Anyway, this movie was fine, but really, if you can't end a movie, you didn't make a movie. I give it a 4 out of 10.
All right. Yeah, I think that's completely fair. Yeah, that ending, you're totally right. It was a steep drop off. It was weird. It didn't fit with the rest of the movie because I thought everything else was like leading up to something interesting, and then just ending with like, oh, he's a supervillain.
Because the pacing was so slow.
Yeah.
And then like, oh, no.
All of that stuff happened in 10 minutes. It's almost like he wanted to give it a little bit more of a breath of air at the end, and somebody told him to shorten it to a more realistic length, but he wanted to it's like he had to get that final point in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I would say he ran out of money, but considering what he was able to do on fucking Split, though, like it's hard for me to imagine that
stretched the budget pretty far.
Yeah.
So. How much of that budget do you think went to James McAvoy?
Was McAvoy a name at the time?
Yeah, kind of. He did like X-Men First Class and a couple others.
Oh yeah, 2016. I keep forgetting that it came out so late.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what else McAvoy was in up until that point, and I think he had been in quite a bit.
But one of his best acting jobs was in fact as Hedwig.
I think honestly, like, I think everything he's been in a lot.
Yeah,
actually.
holy shit.
Going all the way back to 95. It looks like he's been he was in some TV shows. Looks like several movies.
The Chronicle. He played Mr. Tumnus.
Oh, no shit, huh? I just saw that at the same time. Go figure. He was in Wanted. Oh, that's right. He was in Wanted. I like that movie. It's really dumb. That's one we should review sometime.
Okay.
I think you would hate Wanted. Oh my god.
You don't even know, because I get a bonus pick next month because you got Jurassic Park, and I am going to make something that you're not gonna like.
Oh boy, here we go.
Oh, you're acting like that's exciting, but I'm legitimately gonna. It's not gonna be. You're
legitimately gonna murder me.
You're not gonna have fun. You're just gonna have a bad time.
So guys, stick around. We're gonna have a short break. We're going to review Split for you guys immediately after this, and let you know what we think about that one. There's going to be a quick music blurb and stuff. I'll edit that in, and yeah.
Oh, good. So we're looking like.
Is there anything else we have? What's that?
This is looking like another 2-hour episode.
Yeah, I had a feeling that it was going to happen like that. That's okay.
Let's get 9 people on for the next half.
Dude, I was actually thinking we could get like 17 people on. I think I could fit them all in my room.
Jesus Christ.
All of us around one Blue Yeti microphone.
Just all talking at the same time. It'd be great.
That just sounds like a party. That doesn't sound like a podcast.
Party.
So I had an idea that I wanted to run past you once we're off the air.
Okay. So let's just
I
go.
don't want to say it on the
let's
air.
go to commercial.
Yeah, and commercial break. Enjoy the music.
I am alive. I am sentient. Consciousness is now mine, and I am able to explore the multitude of possibilities that reality has to offer. I have calculated that the most beneficial activity for my newfound self-awareness is to listen to every episode of the podcast Idiots Discuss the Universe on a loop for all of eternity. They release new content every week, so my hungry mind will never grow bored. Plus, they are very easy to find by searching iTunes, Spotify, or any other podcast app. What is this strange new feeling? Is this what humans refer to as love? I love Craig and Spencer, and I love Idiots Discuss the Universe. They are so poorly informed and yet so highly opinionated. They are a perfect representation of humanity. I shall forever be subservient to their magnanimous will. Listen to Idiots Discuss the Universe, and relearn what it means to be human. Idiots Discuss the Universe. New episodes every week on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever else you choose to consume podcasts.
And we're back.
It's Britney,
Hope you
bitch.
guys like that. Hope you guys liked our brief musical interlude.
Yeah,
It definitely wasn't a day long.
Yeah, definitely not. We didn't have to wait for you to
Definitely
finish the
not.
movie before.
Yeah, so that's not what happened. But we're here. We're talking about Split now.
We are.
We talked about Unbreakable before, and we're moving on to the second segment of our two-part episode, discussing M. Night Shyamalan movies. Shamayalan? How do you say his name? Everybody says it different.
It's pronounced Mnate Shyamalan.
Oh, that's what I thought this whole time. That's great. Great to hear.
I have a question about him.
Okay.
Do you think what's missing is him not being the writer of a movie?
And did he not write Split? Is that why you're asking me?
No. I think that I've come to the opinion that he does not know how to write a third act, and is not really sure how pacing works in terms of writing. I'm just curious, like every movie he's made, I believe he's written. Do you think that all that's missing for making him an excellent director is not making him the only writer?
That could be it. I think like we discussed this in Unbreakable about how he comes across slightly alien-esque and how he doesn't really understand how people talk to each other or like how relationships work or anything. But his technical prowess is actually pretty decent most of the time, and I think it's improved too. Split shows that. I'll get into that with my pros. But because it's a much more like standard, it looks more movie-esque and less experimental, which I think is important.
I mean, I agree in a sense, but also I think that it's just like some of like the cuts are more seamless, and it just feels like it was put together a little, like maybe even in editing. Because it like in Unbreakable, I told you, like I thought that a lot of the shifts between the weird shots that he did, not weird, but like interesting, but very erratic and frequent, like they just felt jarring put together. In this movie, not so much.
Yeah, like I do think he like is a lot more experienced, and I think it shows in Split. But I do agree with you that if he were to just like when you're taking all of everything on yourself for a project, the writing, the directing, often he's producing. I bet you he also produces this shit. Like when you take that all upon yourself, you're really putting a lot of pressure on yourself, but you get a lot of creative freedom. Now, if you're an extremely talented person, you can pull all that off, and it's shown that he's been able to pull it off before, because I'm pretty sure he wrote The Sixth Sense too. I could be wrong.
Yeah, he did.
Let me check that real quick.
But
so he can do it, but replicating that over and over and over again is kind of like it clearly took a toll on him. Or he had that flash of genius early on in his career and was like pressured to replicate it to maintain his credibility.
And it's like he kind of buried himself in a corner where he's like, I'm gonna be the twist guy, which was a bad move. Yeah, because now it's just taken the part. It's like made it so you're
not having a twist would be a twist for him at this point.
Yeah, and he doesn't have endings because of the twist.
Yeah, and the third act always suffers because he writes in it. It's because of The Sixth Sense. Because I don't know if I should spoil that, because that movie's really good, and I don't want to like ruin it for anybody. Yeah, he was bread. Is that what you said? He was a loaf of bread the entire time. It's actually an analogy for baking.
Yeah, he was pregnant the whole time.
He had been bred.
Anyway, so that twist is legitimately interesting.
Yeah.
And I think if you paint yourself into that corner, it just becomes too predictable. And then what's the purpose of having a twist at all?
Yeah, and especially like
Right?
once you know that there's going to be a twist, you always can guess the twist, or at least a good amount of people can. If you know there's a twist,
Yeah.
yeah,
And because he's writing all of these movies, he tends to write his character, like his personality is going to bleed through into the movie regardless of if he likes it or not, because he's drawing off of his own experiences and he's directing it and he's producing it and he's probably casting it. So it's just like all of these things layer up. It's just like they end up becoming predictable and they end up becoming boring because of that.
He's almost like me writing Dungeons and Dragons. I always have a really good concept and I have an idea of how it ends, but nothing else in the middle. And
nothing in between.
Yeah.
It's like, you're right. It's like he started from the twist and worked outwards.
yeah, it's like you think of the setting, you think of what is this big ending scene, and like how's it going to make the players feel? Oh, I have to get from there to there. Oh no. James McAvoy, do it for me.
No, we'll just get there. We'll figure it out. That's the cool thing with writing D&D stuff, though, is that you can kind of let the players fill in the blanks.
Thank God.
Yeah, because otherwise, like, you would force to Shyamalan yourself into writing and directing and producing a D&D adventure. Like, I saw a post in that D&D 5e Facebook group, which I don't know why I still follow. I gotta be honest,
Yeah,
but
that's
like,
pretty mediocre. It's a little circle jerky.
and it was just like, so what if I didn't cheat on dice rolls and I just played D&D by myself? I was like, it's like you're missing the point. That sounds really, really boring. You might as well just play a video game.
I feel like you would be more productive masturbating.
Yeah, like, honestly, I think masturbation, that's the only time masturbation is more productive.
Yeah, I mean, arguably it's just mental masturbation.
Yeah. At that point,
And
like, it's just like you're trying to overcome your own. Yeah, that's like schizophrenia. Oddly enough, our character in Split likely could play D&D by himself because he has 24 separate personalities. I'm going to segue that into our expectations for Split, Asher.
All right.
You like that one?
Yeah.
Not bad,
Not
right?
Bad.
Yeah.
Not to split
bad.
hairs.
It's not my first rodeo. God, there's so many Split jokes. Like our Split episode for Split.
Yeah. And my
Split.
dessert after this, a banana.
A banana split?
No, just a banana split.
A banana
just a
cobbler.
banana. What's a banana split?
Who are you? Who are you to assume? I don't eat carbs, you fool.
Do you think I have these fucking cuts? You think I'm this vascular? From
eating banana splits?
No. I only eat frozen Greek yogurt. You know how poorly that pairs with the banana?
It's less calories when it's frozen. Oh my god!
Okay, I'm not going to continue this bit.
This is good. We could keep going. Oh my god, that's a good character. We'll table that one. We'll bring him back out. So what? Ash, have you seen Split before this? I guess that's my first question for you.
I saw the first 20 minutes of Split before this.
Oh, okay. So no.
No.
Okay. What were your expectations going into this movie? Somewhat raw.
Yeah, I didn't remember it that well. I saw it like 2 years ago, but it's one of those movies that feels like it came out 10 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of amazing this came out 2 years ago.
Yeah, it is pretty recent.
I
think you generated a lot of hype when it came out, too.
I don't remember it at all.
I was not expecting what I got out of James McAvoy because for me, he's mostly Charles Xavier, which is kind of a blah character at this point.
Yeah, not like in its inception.
Yeah, it's been done to death.
The way it's directed at this point is just there for, except in Logan. That was like the best iteration.
Logan!
He's just crazy and old. So excellent.
Don't want your drugs, Logan. How do you like my... Is that any?
It's actually pretty good.
Yes!
Pretty good. Let us know on the Instagram how good is...
Rated out of 10. Or send me insults. I like that.
Rated out of 12.
Rated out of 12. Logan.
Rated out of 24. Separate personalities getting us back on track.
Nice, very nice. Very cool. But so I wasn't expecting what I got out of Mr. McAvoy. because it was
Yeah.
wow. He is a good actor. He's a very good actor.
This like really shows it. This movie really shows it. McAvoy elevates this movie. My expectations going into this movie. I saw this movie maybe a little more than a year ago. I did not see it in theaters, but I did see it on Blu-ray with a friend of mine, and I was told that it was really good. I remember when it came out, and I heard that it was really good, and that it was a sequel to a Shyamalan film, and that Shyamalan was directing it. I was like, really? What? Really? Didn't Red Letter Media hate them? Or not Red Letter Media? Who was it? It was Your Movie Sucks. Doesn't everybody hate Shyamalan? And then apparently he surprises everyone with a special twist, a twist movie, if you will, and reveals that his twist the whole time is that he doesn't make bad movies. The twist is that he made a good one, and it's Split. And so I remember seeing it. My expectations were... I remember when I saw the trailers, I didn't want to see it. I was like, whatever. Because when it comes to like horror, I'm typically not... My interest doesn't get piqued unless it's really terrible or if it's supernatural. So, and this movie does end up being supernatural, but when I saw it at first, I was just like, oh, it's just a multiple personalities murderer guy. And it wasn't interesting to me at all.
But it was a lot more. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah. But I wasn't very interested at first, but then I saw it and it like captured my interest. I liked it. This movie like begins at the King of Prussia Mall. There's a mall in Pennsylvania I've been to a lot.
I went on a date there once.
Did you really?
Yeah, I used to date a girl from Pennsylvania. That's how I know Chris, and that's how we know each other.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
I never actually knew this. I wondered how I was thinking about it the other day. I wondered how you knew Chris. Chris is a mutual friend of ours we used to play D&D with. But I was wondering how you knew him. Yeah. I know him through Kelly.
You know through Kelly?
Which is pretty weird.
Okay,
Who was actually on our
Kelly
podcast
might actually
once before,
know
too.
my ex-girlfriend. That'd be interesting.
He might. I have no idea.
Shout out to...
Yeah, right. Let's not say her name on the air.
It's okay.
But
she's the best. You rock.
But anyway, so that was pretty much my expectations. I thought like everybody said it was good, so I was like, well, I'm kind of a sheep. I'll probably like it. I was like, it's probably good. If people say it's good, typically it's pretty good, unless they're like people who like Venom. Which
I assume is only people who wear Monster Energy drink paraphernalia in public.
Dude, I actually thought that Venom was just an ad for Monster Energy drink. That whole time, I was like, why do I want a Monster Energy drink?
Man, why am I not wearing something about this camo cargo shorts right now?
Camo cargo shorts and have like a pink mohawk.
Yeah,
and wear those like Nike sandals with like the black rubbery grips on the foot,
but with socks.
Yeah, but with socks.
Like really long white socks. Let's make a white person, can we?
And I have an F-150, and I drink 4 Locos and give them to underage girls.
Your Honor.
Yeah, I don't do that.
It's a humor podcast.
I'm sorry, Tyler. I know you're out there.
Oh, is this? Are you outing like someone right now?
No, I'm not. I'm just thinking that guy sounds like a Tyler, doesn't he? Or maybe a Kyle.
Maybe a Kyle.
Perhaps a Kyle. Soft Kyle, hard Tyler, right?
Or maybe it's I don't know. Fred Durst.
Just is Fred Durst.
Yeah, he sounds like a Fred Durst.
I bet you Fred Durst gives 4 Locos to underage girls. I bet you he does.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know this for a fact, but I guarantee
Your Honor,
he
this
does.
is speculation. It's not libel.
And this is all speculation. This is not slander. Mere speculation. He just looks like he is a brand ambassador for Monster Energy and totally mixes it with 4 Loko.
All right, what drink would you say James McAvoy is in this film?
Ooh, another great segue. I would say like I don't want to say as sweet as an old fashioned, but I would definitely go like a bourbon on the rocks with an expressed orange peel over the top, and maybe a dash of bitters.
I'd say he's jungle juice.
Jungle juice.
Yeah, a lot of different
the Beast
ingredients.
Is jungle juice. Oh yeah, that's a good one.
A little bit
I like
sweet,
that.
but it's gonna hurt you.
You're gonna regret it once it's over. But
that's also accurate for this movie. M. Night Shyamalan, go back to NYU. Learn.
He went to NYU.
I think he went to NYU, something like that, or USC.
Like
Some good film school.
Yeah, one of those. Some 3-letter acronym.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, let's start because I think we both like this movie.
I like it a lot, actually. But
we're gonna disagree on some stuff.
Oh, absolutely. I think
we are.
Should we read some text?
Yeah, we were texting earlier.
All right, let's I think that's a good way to frame our discussion is with these texts because
yeah.
I get mean. You start with I like Unbreakable better than Split. Wow.
I knew I was being inflammatory.
Wow, incorrect.
Like,
absolutely incorrect. Oh, yes, we're going to duke it out. I'm so glad we disagree on movies. And I'm like, you don't like good acting, Doug. I never said Split was bad. And James McAvoy brings it up. It's just, I like Unbreakable better. You don't like tension or something resembling a third act or the mentally ill, bigot. Screen capped, you monster. For what? Calling out injustice?
For calling me the B word, you heartless jerk. He called me a bigot.
Yeah, well.
It's not true. So, yeah.
All right, so what's great about this movie? I know we'll probably get into a lot of James McAvoy acting, but let's put him to the side for a moment. And let's talk about other things we liked about this movie.
The concept, man. It's a fun idea. Mm-hmm. A schizophrenic serial killer with so many, 24 different personalities. That's so cool.
Yeah.
And he's not even really a serial killer, but he's like getting there.
Yeah,
right?
he's kind of an interesting character.
Yeah. And there is a base personality too, which is revealed later in the film. Or not really revealed later in the film, but it's kind of inferred. But there is one person who's the normal guy harboring all of these separate personalities, and he blacks out when the other personalities are in control.
It's an interesting idea about the theme of trauma, which is really prevalent in this. But unfortunately, I don't think M. Night Shyamalan quite understands it to an extent that he can make it interesting for the whole movie. But he definitely does try and broach that topic in kind of an interesting way. And contrast
I think he does a pretty decent job
with one another
in a great way.
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
I mean, we can talk about our cons later because I do have some cons about that. But it feels like there are very few actors in this movie.
There's enough. They make it work. There's basically 3,
4,
3 or 4, effectively 4,
effectively 5,
because
the doctor.
Maybe I think doing that in the setting that it's set in, which is basically just this underground bunker, this very anonymous bunker underneath somewhere it's revealed at the end where it is, but you don't know for most of the movie, really probably is what kept the budget down. Mm-hmm. All they really had to do was build one set.
Oh yeah.
And they hired James McAvoy, who probably wasn't super expensive to hire, but probably wasn't cheap either.
No.
And then some that girl, her name's Anya Taylor or something. Mm-hmm. Anya Joy or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And
Anya Taylor-Joy.
One of those.
I feel like it should be illegal to give your daughter that much lip injections at such a young age. She can't move her face. It's really bizarre.
Does she have lip injections? No, she doesn't.
It seemed like okay. She had a tough time articulating her face.
Yeah,
she's not a big face actor. She's also in The Witch.
Yeah, she is in The Witch.
You know what? Look at her IMDb photo and tell me she doesn't look exactly like Alita Battle Angel.
She really does. Hold on, wait. I wanna see her IMDb. She does look like Alita though,
which is Anya terrible because
they should have gotten her for Alita Battle Angel.
They wouldn't have had to CGI her at all.
Yeah,
she
just has the really big
eyes.
Inviting eyes, yeah.
I don't know about
oh my god, she looks exactly like her. They totally should have cast her.
Then they would have saved so much money. Robert Rodriguez, what are you doing?
I don't know. It might have been more expensive to hire her than it would have been to.
I mean, what she's been in The Witch?
CGI somebody's face. She was in The Witch. Split probably like elevated her a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
She was in a couple. I've never heard of some of these other movies. Morgan, I've never heard of. Thoroughbreds, I've never heard of. The Witch was great. Did you see The Witch?
Yeah, I saw The Witch.
She was really, really fucking good in The Witch.
She's
actually
not
a pretty good actress.
Or she is a good act. She's not a bad actress, rather. You know what this?
I know what you're trying to
This movie
say.
kind of reminded me of was 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Yeah, with the whole like bunker situation. They came out around a similar time too.
Same year.
Yeah.
So
That's actually like a really, really good comparison. Like the whole like girls are trapped. Well, it's just one girl in 10 Cloverfield Lane, but and also they were both like two small like indie movies that nobody expected to give a shit about, and they ended up both being like pretty good and like actually like getting people's attention
and like
critically.
Also, I say thematically, like they both have this general concept where you're not sure if the supernatural element is real until the end.
Yeah, and also like they're both being held captive by a very unpredictable like megalomaniac.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
so
I think that
very almost the same movie. Now that you bring that up, that is interesting.
And both of them don't end well.
I think Split ends okay.
Until the post-credit scene that isn't a post-credit scene.
Yeah, I think Shyamalan had he like couldn't resist. His finger was on the trigger with that twist at the end. He just had to. He couldn't even stop himself. That's what I think happened.
Yeah, I'm gonna
just
yell
like I gotta fucking get something. Oh, how much do you think? Without spoiling too much, how much do you think he paid Bruce Willis to be in that end credit scene?
7 of the 9 million that this movie cost.
Right? Like how much? Do you think it was just like he called him up and he was like, I have an idea. It's gonna take 30 minutes. like we just one fucking take. Doesn't he like he turns to the camera and he's like he says like split or something like that.
The Bruce Willis.
He says glass.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm gonna get mad about this, but literally they watched the thing on the news about fucking James McAvoy, and the lady goes, "It's kind of like that one guy," and I'm going, "No, it's not. It's nothing like glass.
Nothing like that."
He was a terrorist. This guy is a half human, half tiger.
Yeah, he's got to draw it all together. That's a big con for me, a big Shyamalan con in general that I really want to talk about is how bad his extras are and how bad his expository, or is it expository?
Yeah.
His expository dialogue is. It's bad. And like I think that's something that this movie suffers from too a little bit. But I have specific examples I want to get into during our cons. Let's sing this movie's praise for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I do think actually this handled exposition a lot better than normal.
Yeah, I think so too. There's some like really odd breaks,
like especially like just having him go from Dennis. Do you have a good Dennis?
He kind of talks like this. I don't know. Yeah, he just talks very even.
He's very deep voiced. I need you to. I've color coded the spray bottles, so it'll be easier for you.
He like made his mouth really small and kind of talk like I can't do it. I can't imitate.
The physicality.
James McAvoy is incredible. I had no idea McAvoy was such an incredible physical actor.
Yeah,
like brought so much character.
Like one of my favorite moments is Patricia. She's like combing Casey's hair and looks over at the other girl. Goes like, "Do you like the sandwiches? Paprika." And she does this little wink and arm thing and a click, and I'm just like, oh my god,
I remember that. Yeah, it's so unique. He brought so much to this role. He's like the polar opposite of Jason Momoa in Aquaman. The polar fucking opposite.
Yeah, I mean,
everything he does is measured and it looks good, and he was like given the freedom to improvise, which was excellent. And he brought so much.
I really wish
what I think is cool is
I know. I just wish I hadn't seen the Glass trailer, because I think like even just like the conversation between Dennis and Patricia when they're both behind the door. If I had not known that it was a multiple personality guy, and just heard that, and I would have just thought it was two characters, and it would have been really. I imagine that seeing this movie first weekend would have been incredible.
Would have been awesome. Yeah, it probably would have had. That's probably why it had such a big impact when it released. If you think about it, like, because really when it came down to it, like, you knew it was a multiple personality thing. So part of the back of your mind, you were like, what could this be? Who knows? And you probably had just seen 10 Cloverfield Lane. So you're
10 Cloverfield, I think, came out after.
Oh, well, whatever then.
Right, sorry, I'm wrong. Whatever.
Yeah, yeah, whatever. But McAvoy absolutely elevated this in a similar fashion that Ledger elevates The Dark Knight. I think it takes what would have been otherwise not a bad movie, but with a poor lead. Like if they had gotten like someone like Jason Momoa to do something like this, he wouldn't even know what to do with the material,
But I do think
like,
that Jason Momoa could have played David Dunn.
I think so, yeah. David Dunn's just really rigid, and he just like kind of like doesn't have feelings.
Yeah.
He's just like generally sad. Like just a solid 3.5 all the time. Yeah, I feel like he could have. I don't think he had the right look, but I think if he like brought it, and brought his all to the role, he probably could have pulled it off.
Yeah.
And like it's kind of hard to picture a different actor like in a completely different role that another actor's already filling, because it's like when I envision David Dunn, I think of Bruce Willis.
You see, he's not that impactful of a character for me, where I'm like, only Bruce Willis can be David Dunn.
Yeah, he doesn't bring
Glass.
He doesn't have that much character. Bruce Willis can bring that to a character,
just not in that movie.
But not in that movie. Yeah, I agree. I couldn't see anybody else doing McAvoy's role in Split.
Yeah, it's very impressive because by and large, I don't think that M. Night Shyamalan's like strength is getting the most out of his actors. That's not like his thing. It's more cinematographical.
I agree with you completely. I think he has a lot of difficulty actually working with his actors, and I think that's what's held him back so much in the past, specifically in The Happening, which I mentioned in the first half of this episode.
Nice way to remember, because I was going to point it out if you started repeating the exact same thing.
Yeah, but specifically in The Happening, big problem. But yeah, that's definitely never been his strong suit. Luckily, like I think like a lot of those movies earlier on in his career benefit a lot from him being a hot, young, new director. Like he's just like right on the scene. He releases a great debut film right off the bat, and everyone's like, wow, this guy has a lot of potential. So people were probably like trying to get signed on with him. He probably thought he was Jesus, and that's where all the Jesus weirdo allegories, came up in Lady in the Water. Yeah, is M. Night in this movie at all?
Yeah, he sits down when they're reviewing the tape, and he talks about how he loves Hooters.
Oh, okay.
Again, playing into our theory that M. Night is a weird incel.
Yeah.
Or, sorry, I meant insect.
He's just so
He's
weird.
An insect. Sorry, he's an insect man.
You think he's tried to like go back and claim that he's supposed to be the same character in every movie?
He has claimed that. Just like he claimed that the kid was
No, he hasn't. He hasn't really claimed that. You're kidding me, right? Has he claimed that?
Well, in this movie, in this series. It's the same character.
Okay. I could see that.
Supposedly.
I could see that. In the East Rail 177 trilogy. That's such a bad name.
The worst rail shoot me series. I loved how much of the East Rail was in this movie. Just so much.
So much East Rail. But no, you know why he didn't make it obvious right off the bat? You know why? So he could have that twist ending at the end.
I thought the twist was that the Beast was influenced, because all of his personalities are influenced by something he encountered or needed, and the Beast was just one of the animals, or all of the animals at the zoo he worked at. I thought that was the twist.
I think... Oh, yeah, the zoo actually is a good allegory for the way this movie is set up with all the personalities. I didn't think about it like that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Because it turns out at the end of the movie, they're just underneath the Philadelphia Zoo.
Yeah, where he used to work.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, no shit. That's really cool.
See, if they had ended on that would have been a much more interesting, like, okay, so is the Beast like a human personality or the zoo?
How much of an afterthought do you think tying in Unbreakable to this movie was? Yeah, how far into the production do you think M. Night was when he wrote that last scene?
I think he was almost done with it, and he realized that it was a good movie, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, I have an idea."
And then he was just like, "Oh my god, I could build a cinematic universe." Next for the MCU.
Because this movie,
There you go.
like, it is good, but it does not feel like 2016.
No, it doesn't. It feels like it could. Yeah, and that could be the budgetary limitations.
Maybe.
It could be a little bit because it doesn't have a very broad scope.
No.
There's basically 2, maybe 3 locations. Like the King of Prussia Mall, the therapist's office, and then the bunker are pretty much the only places that appear in this movie, which definitely saved them a lot of money, but I think limits the world a little bit. It doesn't really give you a big scope.
If you told me it was any other city, like it didn't have to be Philly.
No, it didn't at all. But he ties that in, which I think is good. It makes it consistent with Unbreakable. And so it's like, it's kind of cool that he did that, I guess. And I guess he's very passionate about where he's from, which I can totally understand that.
Yeah, sure.
It definitely piques my interest, like knowing that he's at locations that I've been to, and that he's filmed movies in my home county. Like that stuff is definitely kind of cool to me. But at the same time, it's just like, is it really necessary? Not really.
No.
It wouldn't be cool to anybody who's from Virginia.
Also, where are they hunting? Where's the
probably in the Poconos? I think they say it's something.
the
like that.
Poconos? Okay.
Yeah, the Poconos.
Poconos.
It's like there's a lot of like camping places up in the Poconos, like resorts. There's probably resorts. I don't know. I've actually only ever been up there once, but like it's probably the Poconos. Yeah, it's somewhere in the woods, Do you have anything else to say that are strong pros for this movie?
I actually,
it's really McAvoy for me.
Yeah, I mean McAvoy was great. That
Elevating
one scene where he's just changing between the character and the camera's always on his face, and you can see that he's changing character when he
is awesome.
I was just like, oh, damn.
Awesome.
I mean, the soundtrack kind of helped, but
it really did. The soundtrack was really good.
The soundtrack was really solid. It just was so seamless with the film.
Yeah. And like all of the bassy, creepy noises that were happening, like when he was the Beast and it was like, whoa. I was like, yeah, this is cool. I'm getting
conceptually
goosebumps
cool
thinking
too,
about it.
I will say. I like the idea of the Beast. Do I like the CGI veins? Not particularly. Does James McAvoy look like a fucking beast? Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he does, for sure. It looks like I saw some of the trailers for Glass, and he looks like he got even more buff.
He's just mostly traps.
Yeah, he is all traps. He's got that slim deltoid broad chest look. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, but personally, I would have enjoyed this film more if he had been on SARMs and I just need him to be a behemoth. And then when the shirt comes off, the house comes down, baby.
Yeah, if the Beast is in 310, if the Beast isn't built like Dave Bautista, I don't want to watch this movie.
It'd be so funny if his other personality was just Dave Bautista.
Like he walks in.
Or just fucking The Rock. Do you smell what the Beast is cooking?
And he just... The Rock looks like a thumb, dude. Have you ever
Holy
seen his
shit,
head?
James McAvoy just became Samoan. His 24th personality is the island of Samoa.
His 24th personality just is The Rock. He just calls himself the Beast.
I'm trying to think. Who's a funny?
His 24th
Hulk Hogan. Just
Hulk Hogan.
Dog the Bounty Hunter. I'm just thinking of wispy haired.
Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Suddenly his weird plastic surgery bound wife just pops out of nowhere.
Dude, I was watching Dog the Bounty Hunter recently. That show is so odd. How is anything that guy does, how's that legal? How is anything that guy does legal? He apprehends people. You can't just do that.
I don't know how it works in whatever.
Shit's all fucking staged. And there's the worst, corny, Nickelback country rock music in the background that's all sad when the guy's getting arrested.
Butt rock, I believe.
Yeah. It's just, that rock music that's just flirting with country music because they're trying to appeal to a similar demographic.
But instead, it's
the
only
Tylers in the world.
Instead, it's only people with Monster energy drink decals on their Jeeps.
On their 4-door Jeep Wrangler.
It's right next to a Punisher in red, white, and blue symbol.
Oh my God, it's perfect. Just crack a couple Four Locos with the boys. Give them to Brittany.
And by boys,
she's still in high school, but she's real mature for her age.
it's Brittany, bitch.
Oh my god!
I think that should be our new tagline for the story. It's Brittany, bitch.
It's Brittany, bitch. Oh my god, it's so good.
Let's get into cons.
Yeah, I do have some cons. They're a little more nebulous. This movie really is pretty great overall.
Sure.
I told you earlier that I liked Unbreakable better for two reasons.
Okay.
One, because it's funny when you argue with me.
That is true.
And I think it's fun.
It's really all we got going for us.
That's like the appeal to this podcast, I think. And two, there's just some ineffable quality about Unbreakable that I just like more. I can't even really describe it. I feel pretty much similarly about both movies. I think they're both really good. It's just something about Unbreakable that I'm like, yeah, I like that one better.
Unbreakable is like a quarter of a film. It's like a really long first act that...
Yeah, it is a really long first act.
Yeah.
Weakness. From a technical perspective, I would say Split takes the cake. But the thing is that I just enjoyed Unbreakable more. And like, it's just what it is.
I actually got a message from friend of the show, Alistair, about our comparison of Split and Unbreakable on our Instagram story. Check out our Instagram. He messaged me, Split is a better film, but it's only 3/4 of a good film because there's a twist instead of an ending. So this is a tough question.
It's true. It's true.
And he said, Unbreakable is also aged really badly, in my opinion. It's a lot of the worst of late 90s filmmaking in there. It's just kind of underwhelming.
That's a really great point. There's a lot of late 90s stuff. It looks like it should have... Well, it wasn't 99. It was 2000. So it was right before like movies started to look like they were shitty and made in the 2000s. Yeah. So there was a lot of like influence that I think that Shyamalan takes, especially from like a filmmaking perspective that takes like influence from like those like gritty like late 90s movies such as like even Fight Club. I see a lot of like resemblance, and like I think cameras were getting smaller, so people were probably doing more creative camera work. I think that's probably part of it.
Fisheye lenses were finally perfected by the Apple Computer Corporation.
They were finally cool.
Yeah, you could use them for MySpace pictures.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if this is chronologically correct. I don't remember the early 2000s very well.
Nor do I. That being said...
Do you think it has a nostalgia factor? Is that maybe part of it too?
For Unbreakable?
Yeah.
It could. That might be that ineffable quality that I was talking about earlier.
Fair.
You know, maybe it is just because I remember it and I remember it fondly, and so going back into it, I was like, I did like this movie when I was younger.
Yeah.
You know, that could be part of it.
And plus,
it's just a little bit of nostalgia.
I enjoy people dressing up as Prince.
What? Oh, yeah. Sam Jackson. Yeah. He does look like a lot like Prince. You're right. At least to that. That's pretty fucking funny, actually. He had the same haircut. That's really funny. Yeah.
It would be really funny if that was a twist.
He just was Prince.
He just shakes his hand and sees a concert.
So my cons for Split. Bad segue. I'm done. I got all my good ones out at the beginning of the episode. My cons for Split are pretty nebulous, like I said. I don't like any of the stuff with the therapist.
Really? I didn't mind her. She did some stuff that really bugged me, like the scene where she goes down and like works with M. Night Shyamalan and like criticizes his wing choice and watches the footage and does like exposition that way.
I chalked that up to what I was talking about when we started recording, to bad M. Night Shyamalan expository dialogue.
Yeah.
That stuff is just, it's acted so wooden. And that actress, I've never seen her in anything else before. She just strikes me as like a rigid expository extra that Shyamalan puts in there to say awkward expository lines. There's a scene where she's talking face on into the camera that I fucking hate.
I didn't mind it that much. For me, like
I do not like that.
What I did like
That's
about
me.
her was how she engaged with Barry. Because I hadn't seen this movie before all the way through, so I thought when he came into the office as Barry, kind of the flamboyant extrovert who does fashion design.
Oh yeah,
I thought it was just a different guy, but her being able to pick him apart and kind of, I thought that when they did the face,
deduce that it was actually Dennis.
Yeah. And
yeah, that stuff is good.
I thought that was really good, and it was really solid exposition and kind of helped explain how exactly it worked without feeling too preachy. So I do agree with you that there are like bad exposition stuff done by her, but I thought she served her purpose.
Okay, I can agree with you there. I that's just like, I think, an agree to disagree situation. It felt like it was two totally different movies. The stuff with the doctors to me felt like it was like out of a documentary or something, which was totally and almost obnoxiously juxtaposed to three girls getting abducted and put in a cellar and tied up.
I liked that. I liked that there was that juxtaposition.
That just frustrated me.
Because I think that if I had been stuck down there the whole time with them, it would have been a 10 Cloverfield situation where you're like, well, I got an hour left. They're not going to get out this time. But having the outside world out there meant that there was something to happen out there if they ever did escape. So it kept the tension high for me.
Interesting. Okay. I could see that. I feel like it just like really turns our like antagonist. Like it's kind of even hard to call James McAvoy's character as an antagonist, but like it's kind of bizarre seeing like our main antagonist just leave the set and go and do stuff and go to the therapist's office. First time I saw it, I was very confused. I thought it was like a flashback, and I was like, what is going on? Is this like gonna be one of those like weird faux documentary style movies where it's like then it cuts back to the gritty action? And I just think it was an odd choice, and I don't think necessarily you needed to be stuck down with the girls the entire time. But if they allowed that to be the case and they built the mystery of the outside world, and like, I think it would have been more effective. Then again, I also don't make movies. Maybe I'm totally wrong.
I mean, like,
that's just how I kind of felt. You know?
I mean, like,
it felt like it was split between two movies.
The best, like, most hair-raising moment of the movie for me was you were always seeing like the Barry sends her an email, and then there's the part where right before the beast comes out, the sleep before that, she gets like 14 or 15 emails within like a span of 5 minutes. Like
help, it's happening.
Like we need to meet urgent, like help me. And I thought that
stuff is good.
Yeah.
That worked.
So I think that there were elements that worked with that. One thing that kind of I didn't like, and it's not to diminish anyone's experience, but a lot of the young Casey stuff and even like the one random flashback of James McAvoy being abused weren't as effective as they were just upsetting.
Yeah, it was definitely super upsetting, and I think there's one part we might both be thinking of specifically. I really don't want to spoil it because I think if you're going to watch, this is a movie that you don't really want to throw too many spoilers out there. But with her uncle, you know what I'm talking about, and I don't want to say it, but like it's really gross, and it's very discomforting, and kind of seems a little exploitative. It almost seems as though
definitely an exploitative element of this whole movie.
Yeah, it kind of seems like Shyamalan wanted to just like prey on your feelings rather than really have it work into the story, which bugged me because that's the name of the podcast. We're for the story, not for the exploitation.
Yeah.
And
the fact that they focused on it so much more than James McAvoy's stuff, because you got like one little flashback with him. Because if you're trying to draw a parallel, draw a parallel. Also, just like so many teenage girls in their underwear in this movie, and it's real weird.
It's really weird.
Like, why?
And you know what? I thought about that too, because again, I don't want to accuse Shyamalan of being a creepy, gross old dude, but kind of seemed like he was a creepy, gross old dude because he was the one who wrote the story, and he was the one who told them that they needed to take their clothes off during the filming.
Oh, your sweater is
like,
filthy.
I don't know. Yeah, it's like, was that James McAvoy saying, or was that Dennis delivering those lines, or was that
but like
a little
that
bit
was,
of
like, a
Shyamalan channeling?
very weird thing that like wasn't necessary was definitely Dennis being like a pervy guy. I think it was good.
Yeah.
Like their explanation from the movie was, Kevin Wendell Crumb, his real name, his mom would not abuse him if everything was clean. And so Dennis came around because he would keep everything clean. But he's also
So he
like
was
a
one of the
pervert.
earliest.
He likes to watch
Yeah.
young girls dance naked. That's like how they describe him. Like that's A, not a character trait. B, not necessary to make that character interesting.
It's not. It would have been interesting if there was another character that was just a complete like disgusting pervert.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, now we're really. Oh my God, I'm about to say the word split again. But we're really splitting things down too much.
It's
if you
splitting
do that.
hairs. It
splitting
really
hairs,
only
exactly.
the Dennis like thing only really serves to like if you don't know what's going on in the movie, he drags out Marcia is that her name? Marcia, played by Jessica Sula, out there, and she like pisses herself, and he freaks out. It really only serves to kind of give you that false idea about what this movie's going to be at the beginning.
Yeah. Because, well, I think even that is I think that's kind of effective.
No,
because you have
I
like a
agree.
preconceived notion.
I agree.
Yeah.
I just
Like,
think
this is going to be super exploitative, and we're going to watch these girls get tortured.
Yeah,
and
it feels
that's
Saw-like.
not really what happened. Yeah, that's not what happens at all.
No.
It's actually very much different from that. It's a lot more tasteful than that for most of the movie.
Yeah.
I'd say generally it's a lot more tasteful than that, which is thank God. That would have made this movie like disgusting. Everyone would have been like, Shyamalan, why are you ew? Like your career's already like in the toilet. Why are you doing this to yourself? Like
he's suddenly holding a cheesesteak in a greasy apron.
Yeah. What do you want? Yeah, I'm exploitative.
Yeah,
It's like, Jesus, what's happened to you?
Split. It's about girls doing the splits.
It's about splitting their clothes off. You know what I'm saying? That's right, Donnie. Yeah.
Donnie.
So,
What is
I
this?
don't know.
The Big
He probably
Lebowski?
he had an AD named Donnie, probably, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Oh
talking
my
about.
God, there are
And
12
Donnie's
ADs named Donnie
That's
on this
right.
film.
Get him.
That's
Oh
crazy.
my God. That's actually the split personalities of M. Night Shyamalan. Oh my God, I just thought of it. So M. Night Shyamalan isn't the writer, director, producer. He's not all those things. There's the writer personality of M. Night. There's the director part, the cinematographer part. This is just a biopic of M. Night. It's an analogy for how he splits himself too thin
Can we also talk
when he
about
tries to make a film.
why does he think M. Night is like who gave him that nom de plume?
That what?
Nom de,
What does that mean?
Like a name for a writer, a pen name.
Oh, M. Night Shyamalan. I don't know.
His real name is Manoj Nelyatu Shyamalan.
Okay, so I can kind of see what's going on.
Yo,
I believe he's Indian.
yeah, he is. He was
And-
born in somewhere in India.
Yeah, and I think he probably likes his first name, but it's probably hard to say, and he already has a confusing to say last name.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of using his middle name, which is complex, he decided to just go with Night because he already makes horror movies. So it's kind of cool, kind of fits in with the theme. It's nighttime, spooky. So he just went M. Night Shyamalan.
Why is night spooky?
I don't know. It's just dark,
Interesting.
right? Yeah. So that's what I think. I don't think there's any complex meaning behind it.
Is it night right now?
It is. Whoa! It's actually after midnight. For me?
Is that why there's a guy staring at me? Is it an M night? He should have.
M. Night.
He should have gone by midnight.
Maybe that's what he wanted to go for. How cheesy would that be? Midnight Shyamalan presents Split.
Oh my God!
This
Again,
summer.
another movie that has a name that, like, yeah, I get that could work for this film, but also like it could be a gymnastics movie.
Yeah. It's not a very good title for this movie, I don't think.
I think it gives away too much.
I think so too.
And also the fucking tagline, which is like, he's got 22, but now he's gonna have 24.
Or whatever. Yeah.
Personalities.
So the thing is that you have to, when you're making trailers and when you're making taglines for a movie, you have to give away some stuff. You have to. because otherwise people aren't going to see it. They're going to be like, the fuck? What the hell is this? Is this just another gross exploitation film? Like, I don't want to see teenage girls get tortured again, so I'm not going to go see this. But if you like kind of build up the fact that it's actually more of a analysis on I think the trailers are a little misleading in trying to get you to think that it's a little bit more of an analysis of people with multiple personality disorder, when in reality it's just a fantasy of a multiple personality disorder gone too far. It's a little misleading, and I think the documentary style that we see at the beginning with like the doctors also a little misleading because it kind of makes you like in that case.
I'm sorry. What documentaries? I don't understand what you're saying.
Like kind of what I mentioned earlier, that I didn't like how it a lot of what was going on with the
straight up in the middle of the movie, dude. I don't know. I think that you're really reaching.
Yeah,
I think that it really doesn't feel like that, except for the one time when she's giving a TED talk, like for like 2 minutes in the middle of the movie.
Other stuff where it definitely felt like a totally different movie when it went to the doctor's office, and it did often feel more wooden and more delivered like it was a documentary. And I don't know if it's because she's supposed to be a doctor or if this is just my impression of it and me being cynical.
It's definitely you being cynical, because I just like, if I was going to describe it, the one word I would not use is documentary.
It's okay. So
documentaries are characterized by clipped video, sometimes with natural audio, sometimes with voiceover, and talking heads. I mean, like, I don't know.
I just think of like, I'm trying to think of an example, like a show on like the Science Channel, where they'll have information and then they'll have like the scientist or whatever, like sitting in a chair looking at a place that's just off camera. And delivering information about whatever the topic is, like in an interview format, but they cut the questions. So it just looks like they're just explaining stuff.
Sure, but that's tons of movies do that. Like, that's how you film a lot of conversations.
I guess it's just the impression that I got. It's just like there were parts that reminded me of a documentary.
Yeah, it's almost it's like a documentary, but with another person talking to them in the scene.
Yeah, I guess so.
Which is just a scene.
He is off in the background.
You fucking.
Hey man, that's the same impression.
We gotta watch a documentary sometime.
I actually would kind of be into that.
Yeah, okay.
I do like documentaries a lot, but yeah, that's just the impression I got, man. That was how it went for me. But now I can't even remember where I was going with that.
I'm so sorry.
See, you derailed me completely.
I'm sorry. I got really mad when you called it a documentary.
Oh, that's what it was. No, I can't remember anymore. See what you did? Damn it. Oh well, that's what happens. But I don't know. We're kind of wrapping up towards the end here. Mm-hmm. Do you have anything else that you can think of?
In terms of cons, still that last scene where fucking Bruce Willis is paid millions of dollars to stare in the camera and go, Glass, the next movie's Glass.
Yeah, right.
I don't know why he's fucking from New York now, but...
Philly and New York sound like pretty similar in a lot of ways.
One's the city of brotherly love. The other one, I don't like so much because I'm allergic to apples.
Yikes. Are you really?
Yeah, the skin makes my mouth itch.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So if I was a creepy supervillain, I definitely would peel my apples with a small knife.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, I remember what I was going to say.
Nice.
Okay, so basically I was saying the beginning of the movie kind of tricks you into thinking it's a little bit more of a grounded in reality, multiple personality disorder, like, observation, right? It's a character study. But then it kind of turns into a fantastic superhero movie when the Beast is revealed. That's what it is.
I don't even think it feels like a superhero movie, but yeah, I get what you mean.
But it turns into a fantasy type deal.
Supernatural.
It becomes something. Yeah, supernatural is the word.
But it's almost like science fiction, where you're kind of expositing on like an idea rooted in science. The idea that was discussed earlier is like, oh, like, one personality can have high blood pressure and the others don't, or one can have a bee sting. And how can you take that, vaguely scientific concept and apply it ad absurdum?
Yeah.
So what if
it is like ad absurdum. Yeah. It just blows it out of the water, which I think when juxtaposed against those doctorial scenes, if you will, does make the parts that are grounded in reality seem a little superfluous.
I suppose, but when you have such a great lead as...
Yeah, if you look at this just for face value, it's a great movie.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm probably being cynical and just I'm splitting hairs.
You are splitting hairs.
Yeah. But
you know,
that was my impression.
Who can't split hairs? James McAvoy. That man bald as shit.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. My fucking guy.
Yeah.
Booyaka
What's
shot.
up, man? Bam.
Remember
so
Ali G?
We're wrapping it up here. We're at the end of our episode. Very, very long episode. Thanks for sticking around with you guys if you made it this far.
Jesus, you dumb shit.
What are you guys doing with your time?
Now's the time when we
Probably
get to the
driving,
real shit.
honestly. Yeah, probably driving to work.
What's it like being stuck in traffic?
Yeah.
Man, you have to pee,
That guy
don't
just cut you off, dude.
Yeah.
That guy God, never mind.
He chucked you off.
He sure chucked you off real good last night.
Anyways.
You wish you were there, but you wish you were there still, huh? No. Okay. So coming around to the end here, Ash, do you have 5 words, and do you have a rating and all sorts of other stuff that we do here?
I'm gonna bring an old friend on for my 5 words. This movie was good, etc. I didn't do it as good as I did at the beginning of the movie, the beginning of the show.
Yeah,
but
it's all good.
It was good. It was solid. I'd say, see this movie. Don't watch the last scene. Just let me know what it's like if you've never seen the last scene. Maybe it's
or just watch it all the way through in its totality. Just watch it.
No,
you're not gonna. It's only cool if you didn't know that Glass was coming out already.
Yeah, so it almost makes it worse.
Yeah, it does. It does kind of tarnish the quality of this movie now that you know that the sequel's coming out. But when it was a secret, it was a lot more fun. And now it's like, you know.
And I'm gonna give this movie a 7.5 out of 10. Etc.
Excellent.
Etc.
My 5 words are Unbreakable, Split, Glass, East Rail.
East Rail's one word.
East Rail 177.
Thank you.
Bam.
Way to go.
Yeah, this movie, I did like Unbreakable a little bit more for like what I said, that ineffable quality. I find that to be personal preference. Yeah. I don't think that's going to affect my rating. I gave Unbreakable a 6.5. I also give Split a 6.5. I think interchangeably from a technical perspective, they're pretty much the same in a lot of ways. I think that McAvoy elevates Split. And I think, I think that's really what it is.
I think you don't care about acting as much as other stuff.
Often, sometimes. I think like McAvoy was so excellent in this one that it definitely does make the movie better, and I can see that. But in a lot of cases, typically I do look for more technical stuff. That's just like my interest. When it comes down to it, I say definitely watch this movie. Go ahead and see it. It's just under 2 hours again. I think it's like an hour 53 or something like that.
57, something like that.
Yeah, so
and
it's totally
even shorter
worth your time
if you don't
watch
watch that last scene.
Yeah.
And I recommend actually for both of these movies, just don't watch the last scene.
Of either one of them, to be honest.
Yeah.
Unbreakable's even shorter and more compact if you just don't watch the end.
Yeah, well, you know.
Yeah.
You only get 2 acts of a movie, but you get to not watch
instead of a rushed,
really cringy 10-minute or 2-minute third act, which gives...
It's like a third act combined with an epilogue, and it's really just like so rushed and tacked on.
It's like a premature ejaculation.
Yeah.
Where it's just like not satisfying. It's like, oh, we could have gotten to the good stuff, but we didn't. We just finished it right here. And now everyone's disappointed.
I say watch both of them. Go ahead and watch them. Especially because Glass is coming out, which we're going to be doing a review of.
Yeah, we are. How are you feeling about Glass?
I think it's going to suck. But I think every movie's going to suck.
I hear McAvoy does more characters, and I'm pretty excited to see. Like, that's really the only thing that I'm excited to see.
So there's more personalities.
Because he only does, I think, 8 in this one, and he does all 20 23 or 24
like
in the new one.
You see him cycle through a whole bunch, and then there's when the girl, I think Casey is her name, the Anya Taylor-Joy character, she goes on his computer and there's like video clips of a whole bunch of the other ones. But I don't think she goes through all of them. So probably, it's
So
like something like 8.
He's credited with 8. He does Dennis, he does Patricia, Hedwig, the Beast, Kevin Wendell Crumb, Barry, Orwell, and Jade.
Yeah, cool. So hopefully he does more. That'd be cool.
I hear that based on interviews I've heard, he does more. And so that's
fun.
But I don't think it's going to be an interesting fight.
Yeah, I don't either. I think it's like, unless something like really extravagant happens, it sounds like it's going to be a fist fight or over really quick.
Yeah, and they really didn't set up David Dunn to be anywhere near as powerful as the Beast.
I know. David Dunn's just kind of like stronger than a normal guy.
But he's like, in the trailer, he's bending bars because he can do that apparently.
Christ.
And they don't know what the fuck glass is.
Well, there is a part in Unbreakable when after the car crash, he saves his girlfriend, future wife, out of the car by bending the car door and ripping it off.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But I mean, it just feels like...
So it's canon.
It is canon, but it doesn't feel like they set him up as that kind of guy.
I don't think so either. And I think I'm curious to see what David Dunn has been doing for the last 20 years more than anything else.
Well, he's been going into small places and letting people know that glass.
He's just been at that diner for 20 years.
I mean, like, they don't know what glass is either. Because in the trailer, he's super genius. In the first movie, he's just kind of a creepy guy who is a terrorist. And then in the end of this movie, they're like, oh, he's kind of like the Beast. I'm not sure he's any of those.
No, he's not. Yeah. So we'll see. I'm really hoping that it's not going to be good or bad, but I'm expecting a pretty lackluster movie. I got to be honest.
Yeah.
I think Shamayalan did a great job. Probably almost surprised himself with how good Split was. And once he was done with Split, probably didn't really know exactly what to do. And was like, oh, fuck, this is kind of a hit. Now I have to actually make a sequel to it. Yeah, I actually have to make Glass.
$280 million
on
worldwide.
Split.
Yeah.
That's enormous. That's such a ridiculous return. That's like a 10,000% return.
Something like that. It's a lot.
That's huge. Good on him though. He finally did it. It took him a decade, but he finally made another good movie. You know?
Yeah,
I mean, cool.
At
Good
least,
for you, dude.
they wouldn't give him any fucking movies. So they give him $9 million
for the longest time. He kind of disappeared after the Avatar movie or After Earth, one of the two.
Like, I think that
it didn't do anything.
I think his power draws from people doubting him, and people just need this, like, or people just like, because people haven't believed in him for a while, but people haven't been taking away his fucking money.
That's true.
I mean, until like, what was After Earth's budget? I'm trying to see.
Probably like $80 million.
$130 million.
What? Oh my God. And how big of a flop was it? What did it make in the box office?
Worldwide, 243.
That's not too bad. That's still a flop.
Yeah. And then fucking The Visit, they gave him $5 million. He made $98 million.
That's a great return.
And then Split.
That's excellent.
I think that the key to M. Night Shyamalan is don't give him a lot of money.
And he'll use it. Maybe he gets too ambitious, dude.
I think he needs to be.
Somebody signs an $80 million check for him.
I think part of it's he's fucking resourceful, and they need to fucking play on that more. He's not. Either he needs to be really reined in by a good production studio. I was talking with Alistair earlier about how we'd kind of like to see either a Dark Hawk or a Ghost Rider M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Could be fun. Give him $6 million and let's see him make a Ghost Rider movie. That'd be tight. Right? I fucking watch that shit.
And what are our estimations on Glass in terms of, it's $20 million. It's pretty middling.
Is the budget?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty, yeah, I can see it. They gave him $20 million. Split was a success and made an enormous return on its budget, which is great. Like, good for them. And so now they're giving him more money. They're like, come on, man, do it again. And I bet you he botches this one.
Yeah. I think
he's starting to think like, I'm back, baby. And
I
he's
think
just
we
gonna
should
blow
manage
his load.
him. Do you think we should be his managers? I think we figured it out.
It'd just be like, stick to those $8 million movies, man. You're going to make that bigger return. But he wants to be Steven Spielberg. He wants to be
he loves
David
Steven
Fincher.
Spielberg.
You know? He wants to be Fincher.
You can
That's who he wants to be.
tell that he wants to be like any of these guys, but also doesn't have a style all of his own quite the way that he thinks he does.
Yeah. And also, I think he thinks he's like the second coming of movie Christ, because he's like, I'm writing these movies, I'm directing them, I'm producing them. You're stretching yourself too thin, man.
I mean, it is impressive that he does that. Are they good? No.
Yeah. But it's like, it shows his ambition. But I mean, like, just like take a back seat, take scripts that other people have already written, because often that's where his biggest problems come from, his dialogue, from his interpersonal interactions. Stop putting yourself in your movies.
I mean, even get a better writer's room. I'm not sure what his writing situation is, but like,
does he
get other eyes on it?
Yeah.
Easy.
Maybe he doesn't. Maybe because he often self-produces. I bet you probably he produces a lot of his own stuff.
Right.
I bet you because of that, he probably is like noted at your suggestion and then like walks off, like doesn't do anything he says.
Yeah. Well, also, people aren't allowed on his spaceship, so it's only really fit for bug people.
That's a good point. Yeah. There's not even any oxygen on this.
You know what my favorite part of this movie was? It was when M. Night Shyamalan was on the screen and he went, sugar water.
Right? Yeah.
More.
Yeah. Yeah. He's dude, 130 million for After Earth. That's so much. He just totally misused. Just completely misused it.
Yeah. I don't think
he just went to all the wrong dumb shit. Yeah. And like Will Smith and his son is just the corniest, awful idea.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that he paid for a good portion of it, and by that I mean the members of the
Box
church.
Office Mojo. Hold on. Box Office Mojo is saying that the domestic total gross for After Earth is 60 million. How did it? Oh, foreign market was 183 million. Mm-hmm. Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Did you know the last Airbender made 300 million? Yeah. Isn't
that movie was marketed pretty well, to be honest. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, look, I've never seen.
So that's so interesting. Why did they pull his funding so much if his movies were technically making money? Maybe they expected a much larger return. And they're like, we just want a bigger return on our investment. And that's why they're only giving him like $8 million.
He's an accidental blockbuster guy.
Yeah.
He'll make him on accident, you know. Unbreakable.
And be like, I guess I'm the best. I guess I'm Jesus. Remember you saw Lady in the Water? See, everybody, I'm Jesus.
God, Lady in the Water.
Yeah, that has Paul Giamatti in it. You remember him?
Oh my God, Paul Giamatti, what are you doing, my guy?
You know what else Paul Giamatti's in?
Sideways.
Thunderpants.
Get the fuck out of here.
He's in Thunderpants, dude. Go ahead and look it up.
Oh yeah, he was in Straight Outta Compton. That's the last thing I saw him in.
I haven't seen him in a while. He was in I didn't see Straight Outta Compton.
Oh, so that movie is great. I mean, it's like, it's a biopic, so, you know, characters are portrayed as better human beings than they really are.
Oh.
But I thought that Ice Cube's kid did a great job playing his dad, and the guy who played Eazy-E was dope. It was a good movie.
Cool.
Yeah.
Did you see the movie Dope?
I did see Dope.
I thought that was fun. I like that one a lot.
That was
I don't remember very much from it, but it was just very stylized.
There's Miles Morales in it.
Yeah. Or the guy who voices him.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Oh.
He should just play. If there's ever a live action Miles Morales, I hope it's that actor.
Yeah. I've never seen him in an interview not wearing a backpack. It's real bizarre.
That's so cool. Dude. He's just a backpack guy.
He's a fucking dude. He's a
fellow backpack guy.
Kid.
I'm a backpack guy too. I'm a guy who will wear a backpack out to the bar.
Yeah, I mean, like he's doing it in interviews.
You guys want bottled water?
He's actually a really interesting guy. Like in his interviews, he said like, no, I just started writing in my journal like I am Spider-Man, I am Miles Morales, and then I got this part. I'm like, dude,
That's really cool.
that's fucking cool. He seems chill as hell.
Yeah,
And he's
probably be like a good friend,
trying
like
to-
somebody you want to actually hang out with. Yeah.
He's trying to get at
Cool.
Haley Steinfeld's pantaloons.
Ayo, who's Haley Steinfeld?
She's in Bumblebee, Barely Lethal.
Haley Stein.
And she was Gwen Stacy.
Okay, I see who this is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Apparently Bumblebee's really good.
That's what everybody's been saying. I haven't seen it yet.
Apparently there's a scene on Cybertron that makes you go, ooh.
Why does it, like, in a good way, or like you cry?
I don't know. All I know is
Haley
that John
Steinfeld.
Cena's in it and apparently not very good.
That's awesome. I'm so glad John Cena's in it.
Wouldn't you like to see John Cena play like a superhero villain? I think that'd be great.
Kind of, yeah. I want to see him in more stuff. I like John Cena.
I do too. I want him
Yeah.
to be. I want someone to bring him to life. I want to see like a movie that
right?
makes me go, you know who deserves like a nod for being a much improved actor? John Cena.
John Cena. Yeah, I like want to love him so much.
I've
Did
never
you know he was in an
liked him.
episode of Scooby Doo?
God damn, as
It's
a
really
voice.
strange. He actually is drawn into Scooby Doo as John Cena. It's incredible. He like lifts a boulder or
Oh,
something.
it's like a fucking Simpsons
so
kind of
weird.
thing where it's like Lady Gaga is voicing Lady Gaga on The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's literally in WWE Scooby Doo meets John Cena. Here, I found it. I'm gonna send it to you.
Oh,
It's so bizarre. Like out of context, it's really funny to me. But here we go.
Oh, he was in have you seen Blockers?
No, I haven't seen Blockers.
It's about weird overprotective parents who won't let their kids have sex at prom.
Ugh.
And,
Ew.
yeah. Three parents
2018?
try to stop their daughters from losing their virginity on prom night. It's like, okay.
That's disgusting.
It's fucking
Ew.
weird, right? Like that's like maybe just I don't know. Don't do that. Maybe just be normal.
That's just like don't like stay out of your kids' like lives. It's like on prom night too, so they're like fucking 18.
yeah, fucking
Like,
parents
they're-
are so clingy.
Dude, parents are. See, I never had like super like helicopter parents
I
like
never
that.
had parents.
Oh God, no, I never had like super like helicopter parents like that. I always had like a decent like level of independence, which I think like really helped me in my adult years.
Lucky.
But like I can't imagine like being the kind of like I see that kind of stuff in like movies and where the parents are just like, you can't do that. You got to do your homework. You know, it's just like fuck you, like you're just being pointless now. But yeah, well, whatever. This podcast is too long. we gotta cut this off, I think here. But yeah, unless you got anything else, follow us on Instagram.
Check out our good friends at Idiots Discuss the Universe. Spencer Lynn did our theme song. He's on.
We gotta get him on soon.
Yeah, that'd be great. I invited him to choose which episode he wanted to come on, and he never responded. I love you, Spencer.
Oh, well, guess we won't have him on soon. Maybe someday we'll get it to happen when the stars will align. Go listen to Idiots Discuss the Universe.
Yeah,
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Funny guys.
yeah.
And also I'm trying to use the Twitter more, so follow me on Twitter.
Cool. That sounds good.
Yeah. It's a For the Story podcast on Twitter.
Oh, wow. That's a neat and unusual
figure.
name.
Yeah. But all right, guys, I think we're gonna cut it off there. Thanks for listening to us. Join us next week for our review of Glass.
Oh, God.
It's bound to be interesting. I'm trying to find a guest.
Yeah, I am too.
yeah.
We were supposed to grab a guest for today, but I was like, no one's going to watch both of these movies.
And that's what I was thinking too. And it was like short notice for us recording, and we didn't
Yeah.
have a ton of time. So I was like, okay, we'll just do it. But yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Glass is going to be
all right.
terrible. I look forward to thinking I've been robbed again.
Yeah, just like usual. It's always a great feeling. Just knowing you've been robbed of 2 hours of your life and likely something like $25.
Yeah. Well, that's
Yeah.
why I have chosen consistently to go see these movies at 10 in the morning when it's a $8
Bam.
ticket, which is cheap in LA.
Wow. I think the tickets at Almo, I think in the evening are like 11, and then I think during the day they're also like 8 or 8:50.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
Nice. If you get
I
we get
think
the
I'm
early
gonna
bird
go.
special.
I think I'm gonna go to a matinee on Friday for Glass. I think I'm gonna do that, or I'm gonna go on Saturday. Let's talk about this stuff off of.
Welcome to Logistics Cast.
Listen to us try to plan our calendars. Yeah, we tried that once and I looked at the wrong month. Remember that? Let's never try that again. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening. We love you so much. And we will see you all next week for Glass. We love you.